Michael, if you were wondering why, where that gene came from, actually, you probably just didn't know about your dad back in those days. I didn't know about this particular car here, though. That's the one that I didn't know. So Uncle could probably tell us where he bought that one, because I never saw that car. But anyway, I try my best to find a picture of it. But this is something that a lot of people did not know about Uncle. Then back in the early days, one of the things that I have always appreciated about Uncle is the fact that he was always telling us how important and instilling in us how important education is. Especially for those of us who migrated to this country. He basically, and I was one of the ones that came with Uncle, so he basically said, look, no matter what, you gotta get an education. And Uncle is in both of these pictures, by the way. Really early on, I believe that Uncle was probably the first person from our family that actually went to college in Laos. And I think in this picture, Uncle, you're probably only like 15 or something like that. Yeah, about 15 years old. And unfortunately, the country fell apart and we had to leave, but Uncle had started college, and I think he was studying English, right, Uncle?
Yes, part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
We do the college offer English class, so I took it.
Yeah, so Uncle, and thank goodness he did that, right? So when he got to Thailand, he was actually fluent enough that he was actually tutoring other Hmong kids in English. And these are his students, and he was tutoring them, teaching them English, preparing them to come to the U.S. And so I believe this picture, if these dates are right, this was only 1 month before we came to the U.S. It was taken in October, and then we got to the U.S. in November. So
October 30th.
So I'm really proud of Uncle and all the accomplishments, And if you look at this picture, the one here on the left, that's Uncle. And believe it or not, I think you're only 16 at this time, right, Uncle?
Well, 15, 16.
15, 16, yeah. And so, of course, that's me. And Uncle took really good care of me. I was always with him. And then the rest of it is Uncle Jared and by the way, Grandpa's in the house. We could not. I remember taking this picture. No matter what we did, we could not convince Grandpa to come out to take this picture. and unfortunately, we didn't get Grandpa in the shop, but Grandpa was here. And then the picture to the right there is what Uncle's saying. And his family. And we took that picture in Thailand right prior to leaving Thailand to the U.S. But when we got to America, I have to tell you, Uncle Jer was basically the person that was feeding us, and Uncle Chu was basically the person that was doing all the communication. Because none of us could speak one word of English. And if it wasn't for Uncle Chu, we probably would have starved. Because I remember Grandma and Grandpa, we landed in Oglethorpe, Georgia, and they basically said, oh my God, we're all going to starve. Because there are no markets anywhere, no shops anywhere for us to buy grocery and so on. I was explaining this to Melissa because back in Asia, right, it was all open market. You go over there, everything is on the open, that you can see that there's food and grocery. Well, we got to Georgia, and this was during the winter time, or even the summertime, everything is indoor. And so the older parents looked around and said, there's nothing here. What are we going to do? How are we going to survive? So just to tell you, I mean, it's very classic, right? So anyway, after saying with all of that, just to share a couple of stories and pictures, the couple of things I did when